Hello everyone, this is Mark Welch and today I'm going to be talking about the importance of human rights in our society. I've always been a bit of a history buff and political science has been a great interest of mine. This is why I picked the topic of human rights. They play a major role in our past, present, and future and that greatly intrigued me. Now imagine for a moment a world without human rights, where all the personal freedoms and liberties that you get to enjoy every day are taken away. It's pretty bleak. We as Americans have a lot of liberties and personal freedoms that we take for granted every day. Human rights are an integral part of our society and help shape the world that we live in. Today, I will try to define what human rights are, distinguish who deserves human rights, and explain why they are important to our society. It is my belief that human rights are essential to a prosperous society. First off, let's begin by defining what human rights are. According to the UN.org, human rights are rights that are inherent to all human beings regardless of status. Simply put, just by being born, you deserve human rights. As Americans, we are probably most familiar with the Bill of Rights in the U.S. Constitution. This lays out 10 basic human rights that we as Americans are entitled to. But a more universally accepted document, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, was adopted in 1948. This lays out 30 human rights that are necessary in the modern world. These are such things such as personal freedoms like freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of press, freedom to peacefully assemble, freedom from discrimination and slavery, and the pursuit of liberty and happiness. They also lay out such human rights such as equality by law, no unfair trials, trial by jury, right to marry, own property, and participate in government. These are not the only documents that lay out what human rights are. Many countries have independently adopted documents that lay out their own personal policies. Now we must distinguish who human rights apply to. Human rights apply to anyone born anywhere. These rights are determined by the government and what document they have adopted as the authority on the issue. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights was adopted by more than 40 countries in 1948. However, sometimes in society we deem it necessary to limit the rights of certain people. For example, in the United States, we have deemed it appropriate that felons should lose their right to vote for committing crimes. And any prisoner who has been arrested for breaking a law for a short period of time loses his right to privacy. However, even lawbreakers deserve basic human rights such as food, shelter, and the freedom of expression. Another big example would be my mother. She immigrated from Germany in the 1970s to the United States, and she is entitled to the same human rights she got in Germany. However, the U.S. government has deemed it appropriate that she shouldn't be able to vote because she is not a U.S. citizen. So that's an example of the limits that governments put on human rights. Finally, we must establish why these human rights are important to our society. The basis of human rights is equality. Equality creates a more level playing field and opens up opportunities for those who are less fortunate. Example, education. The right to an education presents the tools for positive self-growth and can be the difference between a life of hardships and a life of luxury. Freedom of speech and expression allow people to find themselves and pursue their life of happiness. Human rights also prevent abuse of power by governments or other influential figures, such as innocence until proven guilty, no cruel and unusual punishment. This prevents wrongful convictions and cruel and unusual punishment. The pursuit of happiness we are also entitled to the pursuit of happiness in different ways, such as your right to marriage, your right to own a home or business, and participate in government. Human rights feed the souls of people and create a sound, well-structured society. They increase morals and our love for humanity. In conclusion, human rights are crucial to creating a sound moral society. Today we have learned several things. Human rights are inherent to all people. Human rights apply to everyone unless society as a whole has deemed it necessary to limit them. and human rights are important building blocks to building the kind of society we want to live in. Plainly stated, human rights make the world a better place. Unfortunately, many people around the world have their human rights repressed. We as a global society should take steps to ensure that this does not continue. Today, I would like you to walk away with a stronger belief that human rights are important in our society. Thank you.